back. Now, the National Bureau of Statistics has released a report on inflation in Nigeria. And we're joined by Fidelia Agunsa for updates on that story and more.
Well, thank you, Annetta. Nigeria is currently battling rise in inflation for 5 consecutive months. The country's inflation rate has been on the rise, hitting a high of 12.13% in January and seemingly defying all the measures thrown out by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Analysts now say the government needs to do more to check the rising inflation level. Adesha now reports.
Since Nigeria shut its land borders in August 2019, the cost of food prices have been on a steady rise, driving up the country's inflation rate, which currently stands at 12.13%, the highest in almost 2 years. With no date in sight for the reopening of the borders, Nigeria's central bank has intensified efforts to mop up excess liquidity in the banking system, increasing its cash reserves ratio by 500 basis points to 27.5%. But Director General of Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Muda Yusuf, says more still needs to be done to break down the inflation figure.
Monetary policy solution cannot deal with the issue of inflation because in spite of all of this, prices are still going up. So that means that we should be looking more at the fiscal policy side. It is the fiscal policy that we can deploy to reduce the cost of transportation, for instance, because transportation is about infrastructure. You need fiscal policy to be able to spend more in infrastructure. You need fiscal policy to deal with the issue of productivity in agriculture.
The country's inflation dropped to 11.02% in August 2019, and since then it began to experience a constant surge from September 2019, when it rose to 11.24%. There are fears as to how long the inflation rate will continue to grow before it comes to a halt.
The inflation that we have is essentially cost-driven. It's what you call cost-push inflation. For as long as we are not able to address some of these key drivers, particularly the element of cost, for so long will these prices will continue to be high. And for as long as we don't deal with the issues of the supply, for so long will the prices continue to be high.
The rise in inflation, which is directly connected to the hike in food prices, is coming at a time when the border closure policy is still in effect, and many have said this is no doubt a contributing factor. But analysts have given some counter-opinion to this.
Productivity in the agricultural sector is very low because most of those who are operators in the sector are still operating at a very small scale. Many of them are smallholder farmers. They have limited application of technology. They don't have quality seedlings. So all of these things are affecting productivity in the sector, therefore affecting supply and therefore affecting prices. There's also this factor of security. Many of the farming communities have been affected by the security problem that we have. And these are the people that produce the food that we eat domestically.
The recent rise in the inflationary rate has prompted the International Monetary Fund to cut down its 2020 growth forecast for Nigeria from 2.5% to 2%. The global financial body has also cited the slow pace of economic recovery as part of the reasons for its downward review of the Nigeria's growth projection. Adesha TV 360, Lagos.